Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka. And looking at our stories, the total value of mobile money transactions hit 1.775 trillion cedis in 8 months of 2024. And that's according to data from the Bank of Ghana. Well, this is compared with 1.031 trillion cedis the same time in 2023. There is more in this report.
According to the September 2024 Summary of Economic and Financial Data by the Bank of Ghana, the value of mobile money transactions in January 2024 stood at 198.4 billion Ghana cedis, but dropped to 195.8 billion Ghana cedis in February 2024. It again fell slightly to 181.9 billion Ghana cedis in March 2024, but shot up to 203 billion Ghana cedis in April 2024. It went up again to 234.3 billion Ghana cedis in May 2024, but fell slightly to 224 billion cedis in June 2024. It, however, surged consistently to 264.9 billion Ghana cedis in July 2024 and 273.6 billion Ghana cedis in August 2024.
Let's make sense out of the figures now, and joining us via Zoom to do that is Dr. Richmond Tuahini, who is a banking consultant. Thanks so much, Dr. Tuahini. Good to see you on Business Live. Now, we are learning the total value of mobile money transactions hit $1.77 trillion cedis, I should say, in the first 8 months of 2024. Now, data from the Bank of Ghana has revealed so. And my point is it coming to you as a surprise that such an amount of money, we are learning from the Bank of Ghana? Does it come to you as a surprise, really?
Very much, and good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners. I think it's a sign of financial inclusion. I mean, since the introduction of 209, it has been growing consistently, and I'm not surprised that more people are signing on to these telecos and the mobile banking. So it's a good for us as a country, because to rope them in, it then formalize businesses and formalize banking. So it's a step in right direction for financial inclusion. But there are other issues that needs to be looked at critically, so that we don't be taken away only by the growth parameter, because there are other issues that needs to be addressed. Because, when you have a financial conglomerate, you have interconnectedness between the banks, the telecos, and Bank of Ghana. We always have to be very careful, because it has happened in Kenya, M-Pesa. M-Pesa was one of the first people to have done this transaction, and they had a challenge in 2007 and 2008. So it's a step in the right direction for financial inclusion, but we must tread cautiously.
All right, that's fine. We'll get to that bit. But the figures as presented, does this also show that, well, the e-payment ecosystem is getting bigger in Ghana?
Well, the digital finance ecosystem is really getting on very well, because you see, Bank of Ghana since 2019, with the passing of the Payment Services and System Act, 2019-987, they have brought a lot of groups, a lot of people, the various fintech and all these telecos into the game. So and it is really working better. It's really working better, because we need to have financial inclusion. Other than that, we will still be behind when it comes to banking and non-banking.
And what's going to be a reaction to some people who say that, well, there may be a double counting for this?
Well, if you say double counting, it's a very interesting, because you see, all the telecos, especially the giant, the bigger one, he has about, I think, 9 partner banks, where transactions are worked through so that they can get it. So I wouldn't call it double counting. It shows the way people have actually adapted to this technology. It shows how versatile people are now getting used to. Because everybody gets up and I'm going to do mobile banking. I'm going to do transaction. You see, once upon a time, you have to walk a distance to a bank. And when you go there, there'll be a queue. Even this morning, I use it. I used to pay for something that I bought. So it takes me out from the hustle and the bustle. You sit at the comfort of your home. If the internet is okay, then you work with it. And if your data is up, you work with it. So for me, I won't call it double counting. It shows the magnitude, the financial ecosystem when it comes to digitization. It's really, really catching on very well.
So are the banks benefiting from these transactions, or the telcos make all the gains, you would say?
Well, if you look at the agreements they have with the partner banks, they leave a float. They leave certain float. At the end of December last year, the total float outstanding was 18 billion, resting with the banks, resting with the about 9 partner banks. It shows that they also get a float to work with it. And it's good. It's helped the banks also. I mean, it's a win-win situation. But the telcos are winning more because they actually brought these things into play, and they are gaining and gaining and gaining. But you wouldn't say it's a win-win situation. The banks were a bit slow when it comes to digitization in apps. We were very slow. But you see, the various telcos were very versatile. I mean, as far as 2009, you know, the giants started doing all these things, and they have expanded their systems very, very well to rural communities. And I'm not surprised that we are heading towards that area.
And I know, Dr. Etuahini, you have concerns about the security when you talk about the quantum of money being recorded now in relation to the interlinking between the Bank of Ghana, the same as the telcos, as well as commercial banks.
You know, we have what we call interconnectedness risk. What it means is that currently we have the telcos being giant players in the financial sector. But if you look at the regulations are too piecemeal. You have the BSDI, you have the cyber, you have the fintech, you have the payment. You know, once you have it over here and there, it's a very dangerous thing. And we need to come and do a comprehensive review of this because it's a new development. It's an emerging area. And when you have emerging areas like this, where you have the banks, the telcos, and Bank of Ghana talking about it, if you don't sneak very well, a day will come, you get up in the morning, there can be a crash. And the crash can affect all the systems. It can affect the telcos, the banks, and the customers. And that I'm saying that we need to tread cautiously. It is good to gain more grounds on our banking, but it is good to have a very proactive regulation that would address these inherent gaps in it. Some are called regulatory arbitrages. Some call it regulatory dichotomy. There are so many regulations surrounding this. And if we don't take it one day, we get up in the morning and something has happened to one of the telcos, then we are finished because it's a very serious thing. That is why I'm calling for proactive regulation in the ecosystem, in the digital finance system. We have it too much piecemeal. I can number it for you. About 10 of them. You have the payment system, the SDIs, you have the NCAs, and so many people involved. So actually, who is responsible? Let's get to this point. At December 31st, a float of 18 billion. We got up in the morning. That bank or that telco company has folded up. What happens to? These people are not signed to the deposit insurance scheme. Those who have these float, they are not signed on deposit insurance because they are not contributing to it. So if it collapses, are we going to have a bailout? That is the reason why some of us call interconnected risk need to be sorted out clearly so that should something happen like the MEPESA in 2007, we won't have a challenge.
All right.
And another thing that we need to be very, very, very cautious and careful is that there is what you call contingent risk. Whenever you have a foreign dominance in your financial sector or your mobile banking, especially when it's linked to the bank, you have a contingent risk. The contingent basically means that it's being dominated by a foreign company. If he gets up today and said, I'm not working again, what happens to people who have signed on?
All right.
So I urge the authorities and Bank of Ghana to be thinking about it. You see, we cannot allow institutions to come in and
rather unfortunate. Seems we've lost Dr. Richmond Etuahene. As and when we have him, we shall bring him on to conclude his point for us. But let's move away from that and do this big story also following up for you. Cowbank has denied sacking some executive directors and board members as part of efforts to correct previous impairment issues. This was contained in a statement issued by the bank today. George Yafe has more.
Cowbank in the statement maintained that these changes undertaken was as a result of ongoing restructuring efforts and not part of measures to deal previous impairment challenges. It added that these changes were necessary because the directors in question had concluded their tenure. However, the necessary changes were not effected because of an injunction by one of the shareholders of the bank. Cowbank revealed that it is hoping to replace these directors at an extraordinary general meeting that will be held in the coming weeks. Cowbank again revealed that a significant portion of the challenges that faced the bank was legacy-related, which the current board has worked to address. It also added that the recent financial results showed that the bank has been posting some strong numbers.
The amount of money spent by businesses on water and electricity consumed is expected to go up marginally from next month, which of course is tomorrow. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced an increase in tariffs effective October 1. Now, but will businesses be forced to pass on the cost to consumers? There is more in this report. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, as part of their quarterly review of the tariffs, noted that this adjustment for the third quarter was influenced by some key parameters such as inflation rate, exchange rate, and the weighted average cost of gas. The Commission also considered several other underlying factors, including the current economic conditions and the general living standards of Ghanaians and the competitiveness of industries. Based on these variables, electricity tariffs have gone up by 3.02%, while water is also up by 1.86%. A lot of firms over the past months have complained about the cost of doing business going up, and it's not clear for now whether these firms will pass on the cost to consumers. Others are also worried about the impact of this development on inflation, which has been declining in recent months, and whether this could also cause hikes or reversals. You're still watching Business Live. We have more stories for you after this break. Welcome back to Business Live. The Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana has released the 2023 Customer Satisfaction Index report for consumer banking and business banking, recording a 2% decline in overall customer satisfaction for consumer banking to stand at 93%. According to the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasati, banks must assess their performances and take prudent measures to improve relationships with customers. More in this report. The IMG Customer Satisfaction Index report is a comprehensive study that measures the performance of banks on three critical constructs such as service, quality, customer satisfaction, and customer loyalty. According to the report, overall customer satisfaction was 93%, while overall service quality declined by 6% in the banking industry. In an interview with Joy Business, President of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasati, entreated banks to leverage the report and improve their services.
We usually say that if customers buy from you and they don't have any obligation to come back and buy from you, then there is a problem. Anybody who buys from you, the first encounter with you should not end as a transaction. That should be the beginning of a long-term relationship to come. So if anybody walks to your business premises or finds you online and is making a first purchase from you, if you miss that opportunity to establish a relationship, then you are engaged in transactional banking rather than relationship banking. We entreat the banks to look beyond transactions to establishing long-term relationships with their banks.
Head of Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kwesi Osei-Yeboah, urged banks to enhance their security systems to build trust and improve quality of service.
Banks are mandated to improve their security systems, prioritize personal training, and reinforce internal controls. Banks must adopt multi-factor authentication for mobile banking apps and possibly leverage biometric features. Auto logins should be disabled. Furthermore, banks should enhance customer fraud awareness and work with law enforcement to impose stricter punishment for employee fraud, especially with our recent fraud report, which underlined that cash suppression is really a problem within the industry.
Consolidated Bank Ghana, Omnibisic Bank, and Prudential Bank Limited saw an increase in customer satisfaction in the year under review. Stories, Goldfields Ghana Limited says it is enhancing its engagement services with the various local groups in host communities to find a lasting solution to encroachment on mining concessions. According to the company, illegal activities close to its concessions have a critical impact on the operations, hence the move. Manager of mines at Goldfields Ghana Takwa, Catherine Kupo-Kuto, took journalists on a tour of the company in the Western region. The activities of illegal mining are reportedly causing about $2.3 billion loss to the country annually, despite several measures put in place to end the menace. Global mining firms operating in the country have expressed frustration over the issues due to its negative impact on the industry and security of the operations. According to Goldfields Ghana Limited Takwa, efforts are being made to engage community members to find alternative income streams. Here is manager of Takwa Mines at Goldfields Ghana, Catherine Kupo-Kuto.
Encroachment by communities closer to various mines coming into our lease and all that. There are things that are challenging. The way to manage them, that's why we have our community affairs department and management and all that. And then obviously we use the engagement sessions to try as much as possible to kind of engage and then keep off. And in terms of if we need assistance, in terms of getting into the government of Ghana for protection and all that, and we have a section in the chamber that also gives us some amount of security men to help every mining company to protect its lease. So it is a fact that most of the mining companies are actually struggling with encroachment, of which Goldfields is not exception from it. So
Madam Kuto also disclosed that the company complies with the law to issue any unused concession to the state to make a decision whenever it becomes necessary.
We're trying as much as possible to ensure that we do coexist peacefully within the community, and if we need to shout, we shout at the right time to get the necessary support from the regulators to make sure that we protect the mining lease. And we do not have the right to cede any concession at any point in time. It is always under the regulation to give out any unused lease or areas to the state to take a decision on.
Goldfield says it will continue to create an enabling environment to coexist with local community members. In more business news, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is asking businesses to be guided by environmental practices. According to the president of the chamber, Dr. Clement Samwaku, this will reduce environmental risks and ecological scarcities for sustainability. He was speaking at the 4th Chamber Business Awards under the theme Adaptability and Innovation in a Green Economy through Collaboration.
Business Awards is a hallmark event celebrating outstanding businesses and individuals across Ghana who have demonstrated excellence in leadership, innovation, and sustainable business practices. Dr. Mwakun urged businesses to be resilient amidst the current economic downturn.
As business leaders, we must view these challenges as opportunities to innovate and adapt, driving the green transformation Ghana urgently needs now. However, we cannot do this alone. Collaboration is key. No single entity can solve the complex environmental challenges we face. Green growth demands a collective effort where businesses, government, communities, and individuals unite to share knowledge, resources, and expertise. It is only through such collaboration that we can fully unlock the potential of adaptability and innovation.
The Multimedia Group Limited was awarded for its key role within the media space in driving Ghana's socio-economic growth.
The Acting Commissioner of Insurance, Michael Kofi Andor, is calling for significant investment into research which will birth innovative insurance products for the informal sector. According to him, a lot of the insurance products on the market do not suit the local Ghanaian economy. He spoke at the launch of the Inclusive Insurance Clinics, which is expected to improve coverage in the informal economy.
Inclusive Insurance Clinics will serve as a platform to educate the informal economy about insurance. It forms part of initiatives by the National Insurance Commission with support from the UNDP and the Insurers Awareness Coordinators Group to deepen insurance coverage, particularly in the informal sector. At the launch, Acting Commissioner of Insurance Michael Kofi Andor noted that the move will deepen awareness for the need for insurance.
Two key things we are trying to do on both the supply and demand side. On the supply side, we are trying to do the capacity building, develop the skills of people so they can learn about all the things they need to do to effectively get insurance out to those who need them. And on the demand side, we are trying to do these clinics, raising awareness of the people who need these insurances so they will know what kind of insurance they need, what they can use it for, and when to get it, and when they have a problem, where to go and who to talk to.
He emphasized the importance of investing in research to develop innovative insurance products tailored to the informal sector.
We need to find ways around making it attractive, making it suitable to our people. So innovation becomes very key. And that is why indeed in the Insurance Act, there is provision for innovation. So you must have heard about innovative insurance licenses. And that is just a sandbox system to encourage people to come up with innovations and to test those innovations and see how they operate before they bring them out to the market.
Dr. Abdul Razak Saeed, Head of Environment and Climate at the UNDP, reiterated his outfit's commitment to socio-economic development through financial inclusion.
The UNDP is committed, and in looking forward, we foresee that our long-term vision of innovative inclusive insurance is evident. This event, therefore, marks the beginning of a journey to strengthen the capacity of insurance practitioners and raise awareness.
The occasion also witnessed the launch of the Inclusive Insurance Certification Program, which will be supervised by the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. It will build capacity of insurance practitioners to ensure the effective rollout of the insurance clinics.
And that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. We have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. There you go. We have enough dollar reserves to deal with Christmas festivities pressures. That's according to Dr. Addison, Governor of the Bank of Ghana. And of course, Carl Bank clarifies recent executive board changes, rejects reports of termination of appointments. More stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. See you at 8 p.m. with Prime Business.